Thank you. I'm so very pleased to know that Carol Green's in the audience tonight. It's been years since I've seen her, and she and Harvey were good friends, and just them and all these other volunteers. You see what they've started and what's been continued here. And I was driving up here, and I don't know where the hell I was. Everything, you know when you put the GPS on your phone and it starts taking you through, like, okay, I'm going to take them through the shortest way, and you're going through people's backyards and past the trash cans, and at one point you start thinking, Jesus Christ, it's taking me out to the woods to kill me and make me dig my own grave. And I'm driving along, and I thought, oh God, there's Middlebury, so here I am, and I was just expecting to come into the woods and find some strange, I don't know, community of cannibals living here. You just never know in folk music. And then I walked into there was no one else around. I walked into this insane room, and it's so beautiful. What an incredible vision people had to restore this thing and make it after the flood and everything. I mean, I took pictures of it and I sent them to my wife, and she said, "How the hell did that happen?" Because everything we have in our neighborhood gets torn to pieces. So anyway, this is lovely. Well, this will be as political as I get tonight. You'll be happy to know. The brooding ghosts of this dark night have gone from bush and town. My spirit revives in the morning breeze, though it died when sun went down. The river is high, the stream is strong, the grass is green and tall, and I fain would think this world of ours is a good world after all. Of passion in dreamy eyes, a page of truth well read, a glorious thrill in a heart gone cold, of a spirit once thought dead, and the song that goes to a comrade's heart, and the tear of pride let fall. My heart grows brave in the world to me. Good world after all. Let our enemies go by their old dull paths. Let theirs be fall to shame. Man's bitter against the world, is only himself to blame. Let the darkest side of the past stay dark and only good recall. For I must believe the world to be a good world after all. Might well be I saw too plain, or maybe I was blind, but I'll keep my face to the dawning light, though the devil stand behind. Though the devil stand behind my back, shall I see his shadow fall? Oh no, I'll read in the light of the morning stars, a good world after all. Rest for your eyes, our weary love, you drove the worst away. The ghost of the man I might have been is gone from my heart today. We'll live for life and the best it brings, till our twilight shadows fall. My heart grows brave in the me is a good world after all. My heart grows brave in the world to me is a good world. Good world after all. Yeah. Thanks. You'll pardon me while I hydrate. I play a lot of shows, and somebody will come up and say, well, your water's on stage, and it'll be this little half thimble of Poland spring water. I mean, I need more, I go through a lot of water, and vice versa. So, who can tell when in love you'll finally fall? Some live in vain, never love at all. As lightning strikes, there's a small insistent voice. If we are blessed, we will hear and heed the call. Give your love, never count the cost. Lose your heart, never call it lost. May your love be your shelter to the ending of your days. Love is all it is, it's all that ever was. So may your love grow strong and always kind. May your hearts grow forevermore entwined in the brightest day or in the stillness of the night. May it be each other's hand to seek and find. Give your love, never count the cost. Lose your heart, never call it lost. May your love be your shelter to the ending of your days. Love is all that is, it's all that ever was. And never more to be alone. Ever closer you have grown, and forever now may no distance come between. And in each other's loving heart you find your home. Give your love, never count the cost. Lose your heart, never call it lost. May your love be your shelter to the ending of your days. Love is all that is, all that ever was. Oh, it's all that ever was. All that ever was. Wrong guitar. They're all brown. I wrote that song on a Halloween night many years ago. I was on my way to a wedding in Massachusetts. My car broke down at mile 18.3 of the Mass Turnpike. It was Halloween, it was pissing rain, and I knew I was going to die. Because Halloween is kind of like St. Patrick's Day. You know, it brings out all the amateurs. You know, it brings out Patrick's Day brings out the amateur drinkers. You know, they don't know when to, you know, back away. Halloween, they don't just tip over the outhouse. They set fire to whoever's inside. And I mean, it's just. Anyway, the timing belt went on my old Volvo, and I was sitting there, and it's just pissing. I mean, it was like, what's that expression? It's like a cow pissing on a flat rock. That's kind of the rain it was. And I thought, I'm just going to die. Someone's going to come out of the gully there, and just, come over, you got a pretty mouth. And, take me down into his cabin in the gully there and introduce me to the ways of hillbilly love. And it's not a wedding I wanted to go to either. I had rashly promised a friend of mine that I would sing at her wedding, never in a million years thinking it was going to happen. So what were the odds? I hate doing weddings. I'm fine. I can do funerals. But weddings just make me itch. And but anyway, I was just sitting there, and I didn't have anything to sing for the wedding. I was like, I'd come up completely dry, and I wanted to write something for them, and all I could come up with was it kept intruding on my mind, that old Golden Lightfoot song, only a go-go girl in love with someone who didn't care, and that was not going to fly. Anyway, but this, I was so afraid, it wasn't just the worrying about the, goobers coming down, coming out of the woods, but, there were still Kennedys driving around back then, and too soon? It's okay, Senator Gomer and I are going to go back to his anyway. But this song came to me. That song I just played, it came to me, and it just sort of, that never happens to me. I have to work on them so hard. And I just scribbled it down as fast as I could, and I was getting really into it. I was so emotional because this is my friend, and I was fulfilling a promise to a dear, dear friend. And I'm sitting there under the little, the little dome light, and I'm just scribbling away, and there's this tap at the window. And it was the tow truck driver. And I rolled the window down, and he saw this tear-stained face, and he says, "Oh, it's okay, mister. We'll get you going. Don't worry about it. Nothing to get upset about." I actually attended the wedding. I made it to the wedding with my Volvo on the back of a flatbed. That's dedication. Well, it's just my luck to have the watch with nothing left to do. Watch the deadly waters glide as we roll north to the Sioux, and wonder when they'll turn again, pitch us to the rail. We'll off one more youngster in the gale. The kid was so damned eager, it was all so big and new. Never had to tell him twice to find him work to do. And evenings on the mess deck, he was always first to sail. Show us pictures of the girl he'd wed in spring. I told that kid 100 times, don't take the lakes for granted. They'll go from palm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanting. But tonight some red-eyed Barton girl lies staring at the wall. Her lover's gone into White's Hall. Well, it's a thing that us old-timers know in a sultry summer calm. Comes a squall from nowhere and goes off like a bomb. And a 15,000-tonner can be thrown upon a beam, while the gale takes all before it in a scream. The kid was on the hatches, lying staring at the sky, where I stood stood, I swear I could see tears fall from his eyes. So I hadn't the heart to tell him that he should be on the line, even on a night so warm and fine. Told that kid 100 times, don't take the lakes for granted. They'll go from calm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanting. But tonight some red-eyed Barton girl lies staring at the wall. Her lover's gone into white snow. When it struck, he sat up with a start. I roared to him, get down. But for all he could have heard, might as well not made a sound. So I clung there to a stanchion, and I felt my face grow pale. I crawled hand over hand along the rail. I could feel her heeling over with the fury of the blow. I watched the rail go under, then so terrible and slow. Then like some great dog she shook herself, then roared upright again. Far overside I heard him call her name. Told that kid 100 times, don't take the lakes for granted. They'll go from calm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanted. But tonight some red-eyed Wharton girl lies staring at the wall. Her lover's gone into wild snow. So just my luck to have a watch with nothing left to do. Watch the deadly waters glide as we roll north to the Sioux, and wonder when they'll turn again, just to the rail. Whirl off one more youngster in the gale. And I tell these kids 100 times, don't take the lakes for granted. They'll go from calm to 100 knots so fast they seem enchanted. But tonight some red-eyed Wharton girl lies staring at the wall. Her lover's gone into white snow. Thank you. You're all waiting to see if I'm going to finish this, aren't you? Anyway, that was one of my brother Stan's songs. A fella came up to me a while back and he said, I finally figured out why you don't play any of your brother's songs. And I said, why is that? And he says, because you're jealous of him. Yeah, that's why I played with him for 10 years. I said, what in the hell are you talking about? And he said, well, you just don't play his songs. And I said, I play a couple of them, but I don't play the ones you want to hear. I don't play Mary Ellen Carter or Barrett's Private Parts or any of that stuff. Stan was a beautiful, beautiful, incredibly sensitive and such a spiritual writer. And all people remember are those couple of songs that you can wave a beer glass to. And so I have been playing more of his songs, and I will later on as well, but they won't be. We got so sick of Barrett's Privateers. I mean, within 6 weeks or so, it's like Stan. We came off one night, and it was just off stage, and Stan said, "I just feel like I've got dog shit stuck to my shoe. I'll never get rid of that song." And I suppose worse things could happen to you, but. Anyway, we started making parodies of it to see if anybody would notice, to see if anyone was listening, you know. We'd cruise the streets for American boys. People are all yo-ho-ho, yo-ho. Oh, antelope poop is a sickening sight. How I wish I was in Sherbrooke now, be it hard and flat or Seleucid sprays to make it takes an antelope 2 whole days. We were just screwing with people, and they didn't even pick up on it. It was just really disappointing when you're making fun of someone and they don't notice. First warm day of spring, wearing last year's sneakers. How they felt upon his feet, so light and cool. Laying in the shade beneath the bleachers, praying, waiting for the end of school. He remembers how the fields would smell at twilight, when the clover hay was sweet and freshly mown, breathing in the perfume and the mystery, all those years ago before the boy was grown. And the summer sky was high and bright above him, and in the evenings it would turn a cobalt blue, and the stars hung in a net of the forest, and the palest summer moon came into view. And his little world was new and freshly minted, in colors bright of gold and blue and green. And he listened as the evening breezes hinted of a world beyond that he had never seen. He was standing on the threshold of a mystery, waiting for his whole life to begin. The world was out there with its motor running. He had but to find the door and climb on in. Climb on in. And the young man that he grew to be was restless, and the road was calling out there in the night, shining in the darkness, leading somewhere, anywhere would be all right. But as the year wore on, the man became uneasy, and that road that once had beckoned at his door was just another road he'd seen sometime, and the towns were all just towns he'd seen before. And so the wonder and the mystery dimmed and tarnished, his days were filled with whiskey, smoke, and din. No memory now of silence or of sweetness, a way to retrieve it from within. And how his world had seemed to shrink and darken, with choices poorly made and chances lost, till the face that stared back at him from the mirror was a pale and haunted portrait of the cost of no longer even looking for the mystery, waiting out his days, it seemed to him, trying to fill the empty ticking hours. No sign of memory of the boy who'd been standing on the threshold of the mystery, trembling in his eagerness to live. Someone was out there waiting for him somewhere, to accept the love he wanted so to give, so to give. He remembers now the evening that he met her, how the sunlight played upon her hair, and the tricks that played around her like a halo. No one else in the room seemed to be there. How the others disappeared and the music faded, how his breath grew short and how his heart was stirred again with hope and longing. While his courage failed, he could not find the words. But as he talked with her, he felt his heart reopen, her eyes green as the fields were in his youth. Her hair smelled sweet and warm, like fresh cut clover. In his heart he recognized the truth. He was standing on the threshold of a mystery, trembling in his eagerness to live, praying she could somehow see and know him and accept the love he wanted so to give, so to give. And that night, beneath the light, beneath her stairway, oh, they clung in that first brief and awkward kiss. He reached out in hope and love, heated longing. What he'd waited for his whole life had been this, to be standing in the wonder, in the mystery. And that hope, boy he'd lost so long ago, had returned, and should he live 100 lifetimes, this would be the only love he'd ever know. He'd ever know. Thanks very much. Story of my life, that one. I moved across the street from the woman I married. I saw her one day coming out of her back door, and she came around the house to check her mail. She was wearing she was wearing a bikini. But I was out there in the front porch of my ratty little apartment, and I was doing the old folk singer trick. I was there with my guitar and a bottle of wine and playing sensitive songs, hoping to attract somebody over. And it was not working. People were just going by. It was so embarrassing. I got into the Leonard Cohen stuff, and I mean, not even that, I was seriously striking out. And she kept a wide berth. She'd come out, she'd turn the other way. And I was dying to talk to her. She's so beautiful, just so, the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Long, reddish golden hair and really deep green eyes. And I mean, we had friends in common, but I hey, do you know Joe? I'm a friend of his. And it was like, Joe was not one person you wanted to know. Was not going to impress her. Finally, one night she came roaring out of her driveway on her 10-speed, and I was out there, and I was into the really hard stuff, the whiskey and the Tom Waits at that point. And And she was just pedaling. She was going like the clappers. I mean, she was just trying to get the hell out of my way. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting on her, just for weeks, trying to get a chance to talk to her. And anyway, she lost control and she flew over the handlebars. And she went bam on the pavement. And she rolled right up almost to my feet. I thought, wow. And I went over, and this beautiful creature is lying there, and she was dazed. She wasn't badly hurt, but she was dazed. And I looked at her, and I said, this beautiful hair spread out, and these eyes looking up at the sky, and I said, are you okay? And I touched her. It was the first time I ever touched her. I remember the moment so clearly. And I was thinking, this is incredible. I can't believe it happened. Leaving all those broken branches and pieces of brick and stuff out on the road finally paid off. Anyway, we were married 3 months later. So, well, most of us will know that by now that my dear, dear, precious friend Archie Fisher died recently. And we met in 1976, and we became immediately just good friends. And we worked together for almost 40 years, off and on. We did so many tours, and I loved him so much. He was a difficult man to travel with, but he made up for it in other ways. He was endlessly good company. He had just an incredible wealth of stories, and men are very competitive. Half of you may have noticed this. Well, I once climbed the Matterhorn blindfolded and in bare feet. Yeah, sure you did. And you couldn't compete with Archie because he went to India for 3 years engaged to Fiona Guinness, the heiress to the Guinness beer fortune. And they were photographing birds and butterflies and tigers for the World Wildlife Association. And he was studying sitar, as one did back then. And he had this whole future laid out ahead of him, He was going to marry a beer heiress. And he broke it off. What kind of a Scotsman breaks off that marriage? But he had other things in his mind. And but we were driving along one day, and it was a quiet day, and we were just driving along. He was smoking a ciggy, and nothing much being said. He was just smoking away, and finally he said, "Have you ever made love on the back of an elephant?" Well, no, it's never been on the menu. I said, I had to ask, so what's it like? And he says, oh, well, you're up on the top of this thing, and you're in the wee howdah, the little house they make on there, So you got some privacy, But the beast has got a 10-foot stride, and you can't get the rhythm right. And while we were touring, we were touring so much back in the late 80s and 90s and the 2000s. It was just a crazy time for us. And we were all over North America, just driving, and we got really bonded. And we were both pretty heavy drinkers. And we invented a drink, and you might want to try it when you get home. It's you get a really as good a brand of brandy as you can find, like a really nice fine brandy, and then you get that that beautiful old port. It comes in the dusty bottle with the stencil on the side, it's got the cork, and you have to work out the mixture yourself. We used about a 2/3 brandy with just a cap full of the port, and a couple of twists of lemon, just give a bit of astringency, and oh my God, it was good. It was so good. It went down so easy, and it didn't hurt coming up, and and it turned you into instant Fred Astaire and Noel Coward. You became invisible and incredibly attractive to women, and so we tried to use it in moderation, but at least I did. Archie. So we were in this bar in Seattle one night. It was again raining, and we just had a really successful gig, and we just wanted to go out on a little bit of a tear. So we went into this place, and it was exactly what we wanted to see. It was this, the bar was just heaving. It was about the size of this room, and there was a session going on in the corner, and Ullian pipes and bowrons and everything just thrashing away, and people were dancing, and chatter everywhere, and there wasn't a TV in sight, but there was nowhere for us to sit. So we went over to the bar, and we were standing at the bar, and the fella came over, and he said, "What can I get you, gents?" So we ordered our drink, and he said, "Well, I've never heard of that." And I said, "Well, we invented it. It's our drink." He said, "Really? So how do you make it?" So we very carefully gave him the instructions. I said, "Have one yourself." So, he mixed it all up. Slange, And he said, "Well, that's not bad. It's got the port wine in it, doesn't it?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you fellows like wine?" "Well, of course we like wine." He said, "Well, I'm not allowed to sell it here, but I make my own wine just behind that curtain. And it's damn good wine. Nobody makes good wine. I don't care who you are. Not if you're making it in the garage. It's just." He said, "Would you like to try some?" Well, we couldn't say no, could we? Well, yeah, sure. So he says, "I'll be right back." So he does pop, clink, glug, 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 clink, glug, 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 glug. He comes out with these two big tumblers, and they're just full of this murky red liquid. It looked like something out of a Dracula movie. And he put it down on, "Drink up, gents." And you pick it up, and it's just like, I mean, it did not have a bouquet. It was more like when you leave the flowers in the vase too long. That was the bouquet. It was. So I didn't want to put this in my mouth. And I thought, you got to, as this guy's giving us hospitality. So I took a little bit, and oh, God almighty, oh, Jesus, oh. But I couldn't spit it out, so I had to manfully swallow it. And I'm trying to find the positive part of this whole experiment. And I thought, well, at least if I had intestinal parasites, they're gone now. Archie, in the meantime, is, he's just swishing away in his mouth. He's doing the whole enophile thing. He's, just like gargling it. And I said, "What the hell are you doing?" And he says, I'm giving it a chance. So, anyway, he drank it, and he put the glass down. The guy's, the bartender says, "So, what do you think?" Archie says, "So where do you make this again?" He says, "Yeah, just right back there, just a couple of steps behind me, behind that curtain." Archie says, "I don't think it travels very well." I miss the boy. I miss him every day. We used to email each other every day, just talking about the barn work and how the horses were doing, what birds we'd seen that morning. Anyway, this tune he wrote after his mother and his sister died very shortly, one after the other. You took the day, it will now be yours forever. Turn away like an oxbow in the river. Time will heal as it keeps rolling on. Still I feel you are more here than gone. All the shadows and the colors of the grieving, who remains? Who's the one who's leaving? Carry on. I'm given to remind you when you're gone. I won't be far behind. You took the day. took a line from the poets down the ages, now left behind all the sad forlorn pages. No love lingers where the words belonged. You left the singer with a silent song. If I could borrow one moment of forever, turn my sorrow from the now into the never, carry on, but I'm given to remind you. Now you're gone, I won't be far behind. You took the day. You took a star, shining from the great beginning. Now from afar, there's a world no longer spinning through the dark that shall ever be, through the arc of all eternity. If there are any simple rhymes or reasons, while our stardust takes us through celestial seasons, carry on, given to remind you. When I'm gone, I won't be far behind. You took the day. Well, I'm going to finish up with one more, and we'll take a wee break. And you probably were scuttling by the table where all the merchandise is, and that's fine. But I do have CDs and books. I had the memoir I wrote about the 10 years on the road with my brother Stan. If you've not read it, it's long. It's about 735 pages. It's disgusting. It's obscene, it's vile, and it was the best I could do. It kind of reads like did you ever see that movie, Das Boot? 3 guys in a van, 3 young men in a van in the mid-70s trying to make a living playing, original folk music to people who just did not want to hear it. They wanted to hear Barry Bloody Manilow. And a lot of things that people don't know what happened during those days. Stan wound up in jail one night being charged with attempted murder of an audience member. I'm not making this up. We were in Jasper, Alberta. We were in this horrible bar, and the only thing the two sides of the audience, there was like the rail workers and the oil workers. They all hated each other, but the only thing they had in common was they hated us more. And they were just hoorahing at us and throwing crap and yelling epithets and. Anyway, finally Stan just had enough, and he came down off stage with a big, heavy mic stand and tried to kill a guy. And suddenly, it turned into the bar scene from Blazing Saddles. I remember, Mom and Dad were so incredibly supportive of us wanting to be folk singers. They took us to see Bob Dylan when I was in grade 3. They were really, really into it. Yeah. And looking for a flat pick, I'm not amusing myself. Although the two are not, mutually exclusive. But they were really, really incredibly supportive, but they had one condition. They said, if you ever get in trouble with the police and they give you the one phone call, don't call us. Dad was pretty succinct about it. He said, if you're looking for sympathy, you'll find it in the dictionary between shit and syphilis. So I'm sitting in the station, the RCMP station, waiting for the whole thing, and Stan's down the hallway wearing cuffs and leg irons because he's a big guy. Anyway, it was all stuff like that. So it was really, you get the inside story, and it was insanely funny to write. It was not fun to live, but it was like that Dust Boot movie, just young men terrified of the next horrible thing happening to them in this horrible sweating metal tube. It was just like that, except in the movie there was a lot less farting. And the other two books, one's a sequel. The first one is called Six Crows Gold. It's about a young Royal Canadian Mounted Policeman who left the force. He has dual citizenship. He's living in Frederick, Maryland, and he's become a very successful art and antique dealer. Could happen. And he and his best friend, who's a former U.S. Army Ranger, witness a huge explosion, and it turns out it was a Planned Parenthood building that was destroyed. And they get hired sort of under the table to try to find out who did this thing. And doing the research, I found out there was an incredible connection between the white power movement and the anti-choice movement. And so it was really intense. But the book itself, in spite of all the violence and the serious nature of the thing, it was as funny as I could make it, because that's the way these two characters turned out, and they have their own lives. And if you're not a supporter of a woman's right to choose, you might have to maybe look elsewhere. But if you're like myself and the narrator Callum, and you are outraged by the idea that a woman's bodily autonomy is being controlled by a bunch of old men who couldn't find a clitoris with a GPS and a team of Sherpas, might be something there in it for you. I was doing this little spiel one night, and after I said that line, this woman in the back of the hall said, "Recalculating." Anyway. This is a Bob Franke song you might not have heard, and we, of course, lost Bob recently as well. One of my dearest friends. We all know him for Thanksgiving Eve and just so many other extraordinary songs. Hallelujah, the great storm is over. This one, it came back into my brain when I got the news, and I haven't run into anybody yet, including his wife, who's ever heard it. Some of you will know there used to be this huge party at Rick and Lorraine Lee's house on Thanksgiving, and it turned into this bacchanal, sort of like the movie Caligula, and just with dulcimers. So anyway, this is called it would get out of hand, and anyway, this is called Bob Franke's Real Thanksgiving Dream, and we'll take a wee break, and I'll be back. You guys may be already reaching for your keys. We're none of us as young as we used to be, praise God. We've been all known in our own ways to be jerks. Another year's come round, and being sound of limb and mind, it's kinda nice to drop on by and shoot the works. I read it in a book where poets used to do this kind of thing, and sing their songs of love in poet bars. But their hands would start to wander, and parties would break up too soon, till someone thought to give them all guitars. And I used to run to hear the ringing of your voice, but now it's fun just to be knocking at your door. And though none of us are saints, it seems in seeing there's no choice, I think I love you as a sinner even more. God knows I get embarrassed when I think of all the times I used to pout and shout about the poet's plight. How's that for a line? While super sugar salesmen make it big and get it wrong, I'll make it small and I'll try to get it right. And meanwhile there's a fire upon the hearth, and there's a dulcimer, a tuned piano and mandolin. And there's fiddles, and there's lots of fools to play until they drop, and I would be a fool indeed to not join in. And you know I used to run to hear the ringing of your voice, but now it's fun just to be knocking at your door. And though none of us are saints, it seems in seeing there's no choice, I think I love you as a sinner even more. I think I love you as a sinner even more. See you in a little while. Thank you. Thanks. There's nothing more rock and roll than a man with an elderly Stratocaster dressed like J.R.R. Tolkien. And C.S. Lewis will be on bass. You try to, I'm not a follower of fashion so much, but you try to find some way of just presenting yourself to the world a little bit better. And I was coming up on a family's wedding, a family member's wedding, and I wanted to get a suit. I'd never owned a suit before. And I went to a high-priced tailor, so I wanted to do the right thing. And I tried on about 20 suits, and you come out of the little dressing room, and you're hoping to see yourself change like a butterfly. I was hoping to see Gregory Peck from To Kill a Mockingbird. What I got was David Crosby at a bail hearing. God, it's sad. Well, a lot of us are out here in the folk world we're sort of packing it in and folding our tents, or at least going a bit more slowly. And I've been so lucky in so many of my associations. But I've been touring over the last 7 or 8 years, off and on, with Judy Collins, and she's invited me along for a couple of shows up in Canada on her farewell tour. I mean, how's that for living the dream? Across the morning sky, all the birds are leaving, but how could they know when it's time to go before the winter fire? I will still be dreaming. I do not count the time. Who knows where the time goes? Who knows where the time goes. Sad deserted shore. All your fickle friends are leaving, but how do they know when it's time to go? I will still be here. Have no thought of leaving. I do not feel the time. Who knows where the time goes? Who knows where the time goes? I'm not alone. When my love is near me, and so it shall be so. Until it's time to go. So blow your storms of winter, and the birds of spring again. I do not fear the time. Who knows where the time goes? Who knows where the time goes? It was astonishing meeting her. I was playing at the Falcon Ridge Festival one year, and I was stinking hot. And I was doing that incredibly loud and long, obnoxious electric song, Night Drive. And somebody said, I've stopped doing it over the years. Somebody said it was the only song about driving across Canada that was written in real time. I took that as a hint. But I thought, no, I'm gonna crank it out. You know, air out the guitar and the amp. And I was just generating this horrendous noise on stage at the end of it. It's just all feedback and insanity. And I saw this white limousine pull up beside the stage, and what looked like Galadriel get out of the car. And she was standing there watching. I got off stage and she just came running up and tackled me to the ground. Said, "Who the hell are you? We have to work together." I was pretty surprised. I got a call from my agent the next day. He said, "I'm in Lowe's. I just got a call from Judy Collins. She wants to tour with you." Of course, it didn't take much organization. He's her agent as well, so he took himself out to lunch and made the deal. You've no business buying a mare like that, but buy her if you must. He bit the end off his cigar and he spat it in the dust. She's old, she's lame, she's barren too, she's not worth feed or hay. I'll give her this, he blew smoke at me, she was something in her day. I recall her well 10 years ago. She was a winner in her prime. She was fast and lean and willing, but they raced her past her time. And though she had the heart, her legs were gone. It wasn't hard to see. They kept her at it in the hopes of just one more small victory. She was shunted round from track to track, from Kentucky up to Maine. They'd run her in cheap claimers, all dubbed up to mask her pain. And if it's my advice you want, I'd say the poor thing's had her day. Throwing good cash after bad is best you turned away. They led her round the auction shed and the bidding started low. I should go for dog food, someone said. The market's been that slow. But she raised her head, she pricked her ears, and before the hammer fell, she was mine. My friend turned round to me. You're soft-headed, I can tell. But she's been shoved from pillar to post, said I, and always done her best. All they used her up, they wrung her dry. You'd think she'd earned a rest. So if she does not but end her days beneath some shady tree, I'll have saved her from the knacker's yard, and that's enough for me. Was new 2 years ago. She's filled out some since then. All the more so since she's been in full. Oh, she eats enough for 10. And this morn as I crept to the barn, around about 3:30, there stood nursing on still trembling legs. One more small victory. Take a bus, who needs a car? We can sit here in this place near the door. Oh, I'm not hungry much now, are you? Is it okay if I share yours with you? I got no money, and I think, yes, I believe that you knew. Remember the moon on the wall, didn't she shine? The taste of the sheets and the feel of the wine. Wasn't you glad that you were mine in the grand affair? Take a boat, maybe a plane, anywhere now except Greece or Spain. Oh, for sure now I know where I am. I see canals, this must be Amsterdam. You've got friends here, they'll know, they can see who I am. Remember the room without any view, frightened of meeting someone you knew. No farewells or how do you do in the grand affair. Now I stay in the best hotels, those white-coated waiters attend me. Look at the beautiful girls, they really believe they can mend me. I drive now, seldom I walk. Je parle français, I'd rather not talk. Which suit will I wear tonight? Take out the brown, but in the end wear the white. Checking in, checking out, stepping into the light. Remember the moon on the wall, didn't she shine? The year was all wrong, so we sent back the wine. Wasn't you glad that you were mine in the grand affair? Thank you. Thanks very much. That song's by Ralph McTell, one of my great heroes of writing. He didn't just write Streets of London. He's just written a million great songs. We were doing a show together one night, and he told me about writing Streets of London. And he was in Paris. He was young. He was about 19, 20 years old, in Paris, on the West Bank, left bank, and with this beautiful young woman. And he was coming downstairs to get the morning baguette and the cafe au lait. And as he was coming along the street, there was this old man sitting on some papers, and he was begging. He said, the whole song just arrived right there. And I ran upstairs and wrote it down. But he said, I realized I had to change the name to the Streets of London because nobody's going to feel sorry for anybody who's in Paris. Oh, dear. What an incredibly nice man he is, just so sweet and kind and generous. That's the thing about, again, I'm just searching, just doing my job. It's one of the great things about this job that I've had for all these years. Just it's the people you run into. They stay with you. Tom Paxton and John Baez and Mary Chapin Carpenter, all these people that I've worked with. Just like incredible folks, and it's a reason they're so revered. So yeah, there's Ralph. Break your heart to watch the sun strike gold along the shore, where the little boats still bump and spin as they did long years before. The harbor lights burn dim tonight. They've closed these boats all down, and the men all stand in silence on the corners of the town, and they stand and they smoke by empty stores. They watch the cars roll by, and they stare into the distance with hard and angry eyes. So it's farewell to the harbor, it's farewell to the fields, farewell to deep salt water. When the swells beneath you feel what's gone is gone. It's gone forever. I pray someday we're healed, that we'll meet again some brighter day. Oh, the next turn of the wheel. The houses here look much the same. Well, perhaps a bit more worn, and the shingles they gleam like silver, as they did when we were born. In the scent of pine and moss and vine, yes, and rose and bay leaf too, still spice the warm and fragrant air, as they did back in our youth. So it's farewell to the harbor, farewell to the fields, farewell to deep salt water. And the swells beneath you feel what's gone is gone, and it's gone forever. I pray someday we're healed, that we'll meet again some brighter day. On the turn of the wheel. I dipped my hand into the sea. I raised it to my mouth. The sudden warm breeze stirred the air. While it blew up from the south, and the air was sweet with blossom. The sea was salt with tears. The sun danced on the water. I was swept back to the years. Farewell to the harbor. What's farewell to the fields, farewell to deep salt water. The swells beneath your keel, what's gone is gone, and it's gone forever. I pray someday we're healed, that we'll meet again some brighter day. Let's turn on the wheel. Climbed the hill and I paused for breath. Yes, and one last backward glance down by the green as emerald hill, where the fragile cornflowers dance. I stood once more and I crossed the ridge of that dear and familiar hill, and the beating of the waves was lost like a heart forever still. Farewell to the harbor, farewell to the fields, farewell to deep salt water. What swells beneath your keel, what's gone is gone, it's gone forever. And pray someday we're healed, we'll meet again some brighter day. Next turn of the wheel. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Whoops. I was talking to a couple of folks during the interval there, and they were apologizing for how hard it is for me to bring or to mail books into the States. It is pretty much impossible. I was talking to my brokerage, and they said, the goddamn rules change every 20 minutes, and we can't keep up. And I now have to, if I want to send a book across the border by mail, I have to fill out a form that states that it contains no aluminum or steel. Because there's a tariff on aluminum and steel, and I'm not making that up. It's just, but, I'm in a privileged position. I'm an old white man, and I get to go across the border fairly freely. I've got a very good visa and a reasonably okay vehicle, and talk real nice to the folks. And it's not all grim. I mean, the border guards are kind of the first face you see in America, and as you're coming in. And I pulled in one day, and I had all this like many books and CDs with me. I was going on a long trip down into the States here, and I pulled up, and I have to go through the trucker lane, so the window is way the hell up there. And what I have to do is I have to turn the van off, get out, and climb up, and I'm standing on the back seat of my driver's seat, and then I've got the window down, and I'm standing on the door, and I'm holding my passport. Oh fuck! And the paperwork, and then this poor, customs officer has to, reach down and grab it. So, and at one point, I just said screw it. I got up on the top of the van, and I'm standing there on the top of my van and punching big holes in the roof. And it was this really pretty young blonde customs agent, and she was looking at it, and she came out and she said, "I'm sorry, I can't let you in. There's something wrong with the paperwork." I said, "Oh God." She said, "Do you have a number you can call?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." So I speed dialed my agent at the brokerage, and she said, "Well, okay, I can hear diesel trucks. There must be something wrong." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know what it is." And she said, "Give your phone to the agent." So I handed it up to this young woman, and I could hear her, and she's saying, "Yeah, oh, okay, oh, I see the problem. Okay. Yeah, it didn't look like we had any record of this trip, so but it's all set now. He's good to go. Thank you." And she handed the phone down to me, and I turned it off, and she got all the stuff together and handed it down to me, including my precious passport. And she said, "Well, you're all good to go. Just have a nice trip, sir, and enjoy yourself." And I said, "Well, thanks so much. I just felt like I was in this really bad production of the balcony scene from Romeo and Juliet." And she leaned right out of the window and sort of narrowed her eyes at me, and she said, "I'm not drinking any of that shit until I see you take a sip, pal." It cheered me up so much. I just brought a letter home. The wind tore it from my hand. I watched it dancing in the distance, in the weeds and the dust and the sand. Now my words are lost to her. I can't get them back again. I'm left here on this corner with a signboard in my hand. Reno shivers in the darkness by the Sierra's dusty hills, and I would leave here, oh, but I've lost my will. Somewhere back behind me, I don't know where or when, I got sucked dry and discarded. Now I'm twisting in the wind. Sacramento to Tulare, in the fields of the San Joaquin, there's no job I haven't taken. Now my hands, they won't come clean. On my hands, they won't come clean. Sir, it's hard for me to breathe. I'm disappearing into shadows. I can neither stay nor leave. In the shadows of the bridges, haunted faceless ones stand waiting in the darkness where the rivers used to run. Now the rivers turn to ashes, and the fields have turned to rust. My dreams are less than nothing, blown away like desert dust. Take your candle from the window, keep the light above the door. I'm too far down this highway, there's no home for me anywhere anymore. Oh, just look away if you are able. There's nothing here for you to see. There's just the ghostly and gut shadow of the man I used to be. I used to be. Slow down, mister. Slow down. Would you please? Cold the wind and rain, take me in now before I freeze. I can't go home again. At my fill of this winter town, cold the wind and rains push me back, it's slap me down, and I can't go home again. So I've tried all day to outrun this storm, cold the wind and rain. Oh, it feels like a year now since I was warm. I can't go home again here. Windows dark and the doors nailed tight, cold the wind and rain. Neon flickers in the gusty night, I can't go home again. Empty hands held to a trash can fire, cold the wind and rain. wind howls and it laughs in the singing wires. I can't go home again. A hopeless haze is pinched and gray, cold the wind and rain. The meek shall inherit what we toss away. I can't go home again. Slow down, mister, would you please, and give this boy a ride. I'm burning up with shame and need. I've nowhere left to hide. So I stand beneath this underpass, hold the wind and rain, in the dust and the cinders and the stick of gas. I can't go home again. And still the big trucks roll on through the night, hold the wind and rain, like Chinese dragons with 1,000 lights. I can't go home again. Cold this wind, cold this rain, cold these outstretched hands, cold the days left to me now, running fast like sand. So I smile at strangers, but they turn away. Cold the wind, rain, I'm dwindling with each passing day. Can't go home again. Oh, so slow down, mister, please, I cry. For cold the wind and rain, I'm as empty as this winter sky. Can't go home. I can't go home. Oh, I can't go home again. There you go. Who woke up the folk singer? Crikey, it gives the right arm a workout. It really does. Gentlemen, from whom I received this guitar, it was one of those incredible, unexpected blessings. He's here tonight, Michael Millard from Froggy Bottom Guitars. About maybe 4 weeks or so after my brother was killed, we started getting calls from clubs in New England wanting to know if I would fulfill the dates that they were still keeping on the books for the trio. And my agent, Jim Fleming, who I started working with in 1980, and we're still together, and we've never signed a contract. We've never had an argument. He called me up and he said, "I'm getting a lot of requests for you to come out and fulfill those dates. Are you interested?" And I said, "Well, I've never played a show by myself. I'm a fiddle player, goddammit. I'd already attained my life's wish was to be an alcoholic fiddler. I didn't really feel like I wanted to take it any further." But he said, "Well, people want to hear you. They want to at least." I hate the word closure. But anyway, I put a period on the end of the sentence. I don't know. So the first gig I ever played was at the Folkway down in Peterborough, New Hampshire. And And Whitty Hall organized it, and I played 3 nights there, I think, or a couple of nights anyway. And I brought my dad down, and Dad was deeply in mourning. And anyway, the first night I was there, the place was jammed, and over on the corner was Sally Rogers and Howie Burson, Rick and Lorraine Lee, Louis Collins, Bob Franke. These extraordinary people, and they'd come I thought they just came to see the show, but I found out later that they'd brought all their instruments and to see it, just in case I blew up. And anyway, one of the people there also at that table, and I don't recall meeting him, but it was Michael Millard. And he turned up at one of my shows in Peterborough in the last few months. He said, "I want you to have this. I was there that night. I've been watching you." You usually don't like to hear those words from someone. "I've been watching you." I have this extraordinary, it's like having a symphony orchestra in your lap. So I'm going to play you, this is my very favorite song that Stan wrote. I'll leave you with this. He was such a contradictory man. He was so loud and brash and incredibly violent. And we fought all the time. The bass player and I would quit twice a week, and we'd get fired 3 times a week. It kind of evened out. We'd say, "Oh shit, we got to go in and do the gig," because the band, the club's waiting. So we'd go in and we'd go at each other on stage. Be okay. We'll play the songs. And at some point during the show, Stan would trot out some song that was so unutterably beautiful, and he had such an incredible gift for exploring the hidden corners of the human heart and illuminating them and making them beautiful. And that was what kept me there for the 10 damned years. It was how I was able to forgive him for all the all the stuff. Anyway, so I'll play this one for you. And I've had such a lovely time playing for you tonight in this beautiful, beautiful jewel of a room. And I know you're lucky. I know you know you're lucky. Every time I play this, I feel like Sibelius should be accompanying me or something. I think he was 20 years old when he wrote this song, which was another reason I hated him. And it was for a CBC radio documentary on something. And he just tossed it off, and it got played on the radio once. And we forgot about it until we were doing our live album Between the Breaks, and I pleaded with him, I begged him, could we please record this song? And we did. So how early is beginning? When is there a soul? Do we discover living? Or somehow are we told? In sudden pain, an empty, cold, and blinding light of day, we're given breath that takes our breath away. How cruel to unformed fancy, the way in which we come, overwhelmed by feelings and sudden loss of love. What price dark, confining pain, the hardest to forgive, when all at once we're called upon to live. Then by giant hand we're taken from the shelter of the womb. A dreaded first horizon, the endless empty room where communion is lost forever when a heart first beats alone. Still it remembers, no matter how it's grown. So we grow, but grow apart. We live, but more alone. The more to be, the more to see, to cry aloud that we are free, to hide our ancient fear of being alone. How we live in darkness, embracing spiteful cold, refusing any answers, for no one can be told that delivery is delayed until at last we're made aware and first reach for love to find 'twas always there. Thanks, guys. Take care of yourself. Be safe going home. We're all getting a wee bit older. It's harder to sort of put together that standing ovation anymore, isn't it? Thanks so much. Well, I'll do one more of Stan's tunes that I love. Yeah, he was in his late teens when he wrote this one too. He just left university for the second time. And I remember standing outside his doorway while he was his bedroom door while he was making a copy of it on our dad's tape machine. And I thought, oh Jesus, there's gonna be no living with him now. Anyway, I'll send this out to you guys. I used to be a Pharisee, cynical and wise, telling rich and godly lies of humanity. But in the marketplace was seated a singer with a lyre. I looked at him and said, I've been rich but so unhappy. What sets your soul on fire? He said, look upon me, brother, I'm a man with peace of mind. You know I never was much good at nothing, but the words are rotten rhyme. But I've a good woman to feed me and friends to share too. Evenings we will sit around and sing together. It could be the same for you. If you just hold on to young friends you make of old and cleave to the one who keeps you whole. Keep a warm fire for all your friends that come in from the cold. Love them all as brothers, you don't have to know their names. For you it might be different, but for us it always stays the same. Tonight the smoke is rising from all around the room. Judging by the warmth of the smells from the kitchen, there'll be supper ready soon. Our table set for 20, room for more if they should come. Later on we'll pass around the wine for our pleasure and sing until the morning comes. And we will hold on to young friends we make of old and cleave to the one who keeps us whole. Keep a warm fire for all our friends that come in from the cold. Love them all as brothers, we don't have to know their names. Used to be so different, now I know we'll always stay the same. Hold on to young friends you make of old and cleave to the one who keeps you whole. Keep a warm fire for all your friends that come in from the cold. Now I love you all as brothers, I don't have to know your names. I used to be so different, now I know I'll always stay the same. Safe going home.